Hi, it's Kate from the Sober School here with your weekly dose of inspiration to help you create an alcohol-free life you love. Now recently I've had lots and lots of people asking for some tips on how to get started with sobriety. Autumn is a really popular time of year to take a break from booze. Summer's behind us, we've got that back to school vibe going on, and we are still some way off that crazy Christmas period, thank goodness. So, if alcohol has been making you miserable recently, now really is an excellent time to do something about it. And that's why I want to share 3 tips with you that will help you get started with stopping drinking. So tip number 1 is to start building your sober toolbox. A sober tool is anything you use as a coping mechanism to change or relieve the way you feel and to help you deal with the ups and downs of life. And here's the thing, you actually already have a toolbox of sorts because tools can be healthy and unhealthy. And at the moment, you're using alcohol as a tool to help you deal with certain emotions. One of the keys to successful sobriety is to find new, healthier tools that do the same kind of job but without any of the negative consequences. Now, the trick to building a sober toolbox that actually works is to be willing to experiment. This is where you need to be really proactive and open-minded and prepared to try everything once. So, some people will love going to the gym to burn off the stresses of the day. Other people, like me, might prefer a long bath and a good book. Or, you know what, maybe you just want to veg out in front of the TV and give yourself permission to do that without feeling guilty. Underneath this video is a free principle for you to download that will help you brainstorm some ideas that will work for you. Don't try and be perfect. It would be great if your sober tools included yoga and meditation, but it's also totally fine to binge watch Netflix and eat ice cream if that's what works for you. Tip number 2 is to establish a support network. Now, you can stop drinking on your own. It is possible, but it can also be very lonely at times. It is so much easier when you have people to talk to about this stuff, and it makes such a difference when you've got someone who can relate to what you're going through and be there to listen and encourage you and help you navigate the inevitable challenges that will crop up. Now, the online Stop Drinking course that I run is a group coaching program for this very reason. I know how powerful it is to be part of a community where you're surrounded by lots of motivated, like-minded people who will cheer you on and support you. So what I'm saying is, if you've been trying to figure this out on your own and it hasn't worked for you yet, now is the time to get out of your own head and start thinking about where you can get some support. Maybe you actually know someone who stopped drinking. Maybe now is the time to talk to them about it. Or perhaps you can chat things through with your partner or your best friend. You are not the only person in the world to struggle with alcohol. There are lots and lots of other people out there who feel exactly the same way, and it's really important that you know that. Tip number 3 is to start challenging your beliefs about booze. We live in such a boozy world, one where alcohol is put up on a pedestal, and from an early age we're told that it's this magical, wonderful, essential part of life. And when we repeatedly hear that message from people around us, from TV shows and adverts and social media, then it's no wonder we feel deprived at the thought of quitting. And when we feel deprived, sobriety feels hard. It becomes a willpower game. And I don't know about you, but I don't have very much willpower. It's been 4.5 years since my last drink, and I know I wouldn't have got this far if I'd been relying on willpower alone. The thing that really changed everything for me was getting clear on the myths and illusions about booze and understanding what alcohol can and cannot do. So the next time you catch yourself thinking that you are missing out on something, I want you to stop and start scrutinizing that thought. For example, when that voice in your head tells you that alcohol would be a great way of dealing with stress, start challenging that assumption and analyze the evidence by looking at your past drinking experiences. Does alcohol ever really change the facts or the reality of a situation? Does it create more problems and extra stress? And when you wake up at 4 a.m. tired and hungover, how does that affect your stress levels and your ability to deal with the completely normal ups and downs of life? Think about this. If alcohol really was some awesome stress destroyer, then surely your stress levels should have nosedived recently. They should go down as you drink more. But most people that I know, most of the women I'd work with, are incredibly stressed out and often very anxious too. The idea that alcohol is a solution to stress is a complete myth, and I think that deep down you probably know that already. I know you're already questioning this stuff because you wouldn't be here otherwise. So I want to encourage you to keep challenging your beliefs about alcohol and to really force yourself to see it for what it is: a toxic, dangerous, addictive poison packaged in pretty bottles. So those are my 3 tips to help you get started with stopping drinking this autumn. Build a sober toolbox, establish a support network, and challenge your beliefs about booze. The final thing I'll say is that if you're still wondering whether you really need to stop drinking, try not to get too bogged down with alcohol units or filling out online questionnaires or comparing yourself to other people. All you really need to ask is, am I regularly drinking more than I intend to? And is that making me miserable? Those are the most important questions. And I feel that if alcohol is making you unhappy, then you kind of owe it to yourself to see what sobriety is all about. You don't have to quit forever. I know that is way too intimidating, but you do need to give it a bit of a test drive and put some space between you and your last drink. So I highly recommend that you take a break from booze. Stop for at least a month, but preferably 6 weeks or 2 months, or if you really want to go for it, 100 days. They're all great. Take a break from booze. Follow the suggestions that I've talked about here today. Give it 100%. Promise yourself that you will not question the decision. And then, at the end of that break, you can stop and review the situation, see how you feel, and decide what you want to do next. That is how I got started, and look what happened. Deciding to go alcohol-free was one of the best things I've ever done, but I just couldn't tell that it was going to be like that when I was trying to take one day off here and there. I had to get a good block of time under my belt before I realised that I wasn't missing out on anything, and sobriety was pretty amazing. So go for it. I think you might love it.